Hello everybody, this is Tracy, also known as Hot Nerd Girl, and this is my Popey, Dean Minnerly, also known as Foley artist for Universal Studios, and he's going to give you a demonstration on what exactly it is he does. Oh.
Well, we are here at Universal Studios. This is the Foley stage, and pretty much what we do is try to fool you. Our job is to take anything that happens up on that screen. That screen will carry whatever character we're going to portray, whether it's a human or an animal, whether it's live or animated, and our job is to take everything that's relative to that character and recreate the sound that goes with it. In the event that it happens to be a sci-fi film, we may in fact invent sounds that never existed before. And I know that Tracy seems to like sci-fi films just a little bit. If it happens to be a creature that has never existed before, sometimes we get to make the most disgusting sounds for the movements of the creature. If it's a slasher film and we get to chop people up or run our hands through guts or break things, it's lots of fun. We get to do all that kind of stuff here. Right now the Foley stage is fairly clean, but what we have, if our camera operator, Kim, can move the camera around, she can show you a little bit of the stage in a panning here. We have different ground and floor surfaces for the actual footsteps. One of the things we're sometimes known as is Foley walkers, because the walking is part of the effects that we create. The rest of the stage is completely filled with everything and anything you can think of as a prop, things that make sounds. Our job is to see what sounds need to be made, find the thing that's appropriate, make the correct sounds, or find something that'll make the sound that the client wants. Now, Tracy's looking around. She's not sure what she's looking for, but she's looking.
Trying to find the boomstick.
A boomstick?
Remember the boomstick?
The boomstick. Okay. Tracy's going to talk to you for a minute.
So yeah, I pretty much grew up around here. Spent summers here and even apprenticed here for a summer after college. And it was really fun. Had to create my own little Foley kit. Yeah, the boomstick!
Also known as the Zoob tube. Sometimes we can use this for strange electrical sounds. And she's beating on me. She's been beating on me since she was 6, so I'm used to it. Okay, this is also known as a whoosh stick. I'll put this next to it so you can hear it. When you hear whoosh sounds, that's how we make it. We just use a wooden dowel. So there's a lot of little funny tricks that we do in here. We have a puddle pit over here so we can make splashy sounds. We have a big tub. When I did the remake of Jaws, I made all the splishes and splashes in that one. We have a glass pit over here. We do all the breaking stuff in so we don't injure ourselves. Dirt pits and floor pits and gravel pits and metal pits, and we call them pits because it's not just the surface. They're actually excavated 5 feet down into the earth so that we can control the sounds, and then they're all separated from each other. I've been doing this now for, let me see, I guess about 30 years, something like that. And of all of the things in the television and movie industry, we are one of the smallest groups. There are thousands and thousands of sound editors, but there's only about 35 or 40 of us who do all the big TV shows and features. I just finished a feature for Seth MacFarlane called Ted, about a teddy bear that comes to life that'll be released soon. I just finished the last episodes of a couple of my TV shows recently, those being House, Law & Order Special Victims Unit, and Grimm, one of my new favorite shows. And that's got a little bit of sci-fi to it, so I'm sure Tracy will, in one time or another, get herself involved in reviewing the Grimm episodes. Well, that gives you a quick breakdown of what we did here. And Tracy is here. I just gave Tracy and Kim a little tour around the studio in the golf cart.
Can I show my footsteps?
Oh, Tracy wants me to show you how I do footsteps. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I brought out one of the shoes that I use. Actually, this was issued to me by Uncle Sam in 1970, and I still have it. Essentially, what I do is create the illusion of movement by rolling my foot to make it sound like I'm actually covering distance. The microphone doesn't move, though, and the sounds are coming from these floor and ground surfaces, and they don't move either. So I have to make you think I'm moving by doing this. Rolling my feet to the inside and the outside if I want to do it as a one-footed person, or if I was using 2 feet, I would just essentially roll the feet in a way that accentuates both the heel and the toe. It gives you the illusion that we're actually walking forward or backward or sideways. So that's one of the little tricks Foley artists do to do what we do. And we kind of do it a lot, actually.
What about animal feet?
About animal feet, ooh, well, that can be anything. If we have something that has claws on it, what we like to use is we take gloves and we tape paper clips to them sometimes, or sometimes we'll take fake fingernails and tape them to the end, and then we'll do little scratchy sounds, whether it's on a tree or on the ground or in the dirt or whatever's necessary. Sometimes we'll take stuffed animals and we'll make them into something that needs to be. Like, for instance, if they're a soft, fluffy, fuzzy type of thing, we can use the stuffed animal on the floor and do the impacts with our hands for the feet to make it sound like it's a fuzzy paw hitting. So there are lots of little tricks that we use. Okay, now I know you guys want to ask me questions. Ask her. She'll ask me. What other questions do you have, my interviewing person? Good face.
What was the first movie that was done with Foley?
The very first movie that was done with Foley by the person who it was named after was Showboat in 1924, I believe. 1924 was the first movie. And that was done by Jack Foley, who was actually the creator of Foley. And I'd like to thank the Academy for this opportunity to speak with you today. What else you got,
the worst
Tracy?
interviewer ever.
Well, you know, it's hard to interview people when you're constantly laughing. But of course, that is your persona. That is your persona. Do they know the background behind Tag? Yeah, that one.
How is that relevant to Foley?
Well, I just figured you went with the loser sign. I think there's probably other nicknames about you that they might know someday.
One of my nicknames is, this has nothing to do with Foley, but one of my nicknames is Tag, which is Tracy's a gimp, because I'm constantly running into things and falling over things and basically being the hugest nerd on the planet.
She does have that to a science. I mean, if there was an Academy Award for nerdiness, I think we'd see her on the red carpet this year.
Oh, there we go.
Yes. Yes, of course. Okay, what else?
Have
a shoe.
Thank you. Is this your shoe you're wearing today?
It is. There's one on my other foot. I have 2 feet, you know. Foley walkers do need 2 feet. That's
what was the last sci-fi film that you did Foley on?
Last sci-fi film? Let me see. Can't remember.
Or TV show?
Well, I've been doing the Grimms, and that's essentially a fantasy type of show. Sci-fi film, I've worked on so many of them. I don't remember what the last one was, but I guess probably the one my partner worked on. Pamela Kahn is my partner, and she just did Captain America recently. So she did that one. We have some other sci-fi films that are coming in later this year in here, but again, because they're not in yet, I can't tell you what they are. But I do know that there are going to be some pretty big ones, and there's going to be some big names involved with them.
Talk about your work on Star Trek Next Generation.
Oh yes, this is one of the things that became part of the birth of the nerdiness that stands next to me right now. Tracy has all her life been a Star Trek fan from the original Star Trek right through until the present. And one of the things I did back when TNG first started is I helped write for the first 2 seasons of the show. I even wrote myself in as a character. And Tracy's got all my memorabilia, all my stuff from TNG, the production jacket, the scripts, all the cool stuff. And she never wears the jacket, she just keeps it in plastic.
There's like 12 of them.
Yeah, we're 16. But
okay, 16 of them.
All right, yes. But I had a very good opportunity to be involved with the show for 2 seasons, and I made myself a character a couple of times. In fact, I actually used my name in one of them. I wasn't actually acting on the show, but I did become Lieutenant Minnerly, the kickboxing champion of the Enterprise. It was the same show that Denise Crosby got herself killed in.
Skin of Evil.
Yes. Tasha Yar wanted to leave the show. Worst move she ever made. Hasn't had a career since. But that has nothing to do with anything.
And also some of the fighting stuff.
Yes, I did some of the fight choreography, some of the anything from the martial arts work to the hand-to-hand to the fencing. And these are all things that are part of my background, as I was also a martial arts instructor for most of my life. And weaponry has always been a passion of mine, and when there were opportunities for me to use those skills, I offered them to the production company and they used them.
Captain of the zombie apocalypse annihilation team right here.
Reporting.
And, oh shoot, I was going to ask you one more question about that. Oh, Chuck Norris.
Oh, yeah, Chuck. I started working with Chuck in 1972. I taught for him for a very long time. He is semi-retired now. He's kind of getting involved in just the things that he likes to do nowadays.
Expendables too.
Yes. But Chuck and I have known each other now for, 40 years. Chuck and his brother Aaron and his sons, Mike and Eric. It's been a while since we've talked, but I occasionally run into some of the other people that we were both involved in during the years that we all taught together.
And how did you get into Foley?
I came out of the service for the second time in '83, living on the East Coast. I had friends that had taught with me on the East Coast that were from here, taught martial arts. They invited me out to teach with them. I came out, and I liked it, and I stayed. And then after I was involved with one particular school in Studio City, one of my students was a re-recording mixer for television and films. His girlfriend does this job, Foley, and I met her through him and apprenticed through her. So to be a Foley artist, it's not something you go to school for, it's an apprenticeship.
As I mentioned, that I did apprentice for a summer right after college, not for very long.
That's true, she did. In fact, there were a couple other times when she was staying with me that she was down on the stage, and either here or one of the other places that I've worked in the past. And
I've even created some effects.
you did. I believe you did one of the popcorn cues.
Maybe. I cracked my knuckles.
Cracking knuckles, yes. You did an eating popcorn cue, and you did the jumping up and down on the couch at Larson cue.
Oh gosh, I don't even remember that.
Oh, I remember all of it. It's back up and working?
Yeah.
I lost my shoe.
The multi-talented Tracy. Nerdness extraordinaire.
Sorry, a little interlude while I was tying shoes. How about your music?
Oh, well, I am a keyboard player. I play in different rock and roll bands. I have a band that I've been working with for about 5 years now called the McGrath Project. We had a gold double album a couple years ago. We have a new album that's just come out this month. And I have just been in the studio working with members of Vanilla Fudge, Cactus, Beck Boker to Peace, Def Leppard, Thin Lizzy, Santana, and probably half a dozen other bands. We've been working on a new album for the founder of the rock band Nazareth, Manny Charles, and that'll be released sometime this summer. So we had a lot of very, very good people working on it, and it's always fun to work with great talent.
So are you hoping to phase from Foley to rock god?
Well, I would like to. I mean, like, I like doing Foley. It's a lot of fun. But I also like being up on stage in front of 30 to 50,000 people. That's a lot of fun, too. And when you can do both, it's great. When you have a choice between one or the other, I think I'll take the stage.
The rock god? Well, this is the stage, too.
It's true. But as you can see, my audience is considerably smaller until it leaves the stage and gets out to the theaters. And then unless they stay for the credit crawl at the end, they never know who did it.
I always stay for
I
the
know
credit
you always
crawl.
do. And you always have. You always have. That's something.
Should always stay for the
very
credit
proud.
crawl. Not just because a lot of people worked really hard on a movie, might be a little bit biased in that regard, but because there's often things after the credits and everybody misses them because they're dumb.
It's true. It's
I'm
true.
going to get off my soapbox now.
There are lots of little Easter eggs that we throw in credit crawls and people that don't stay never get to see and hear.
I do.
She does. What else you got?
What's with this car hood
Hmm.
over here?
Well, there are a lot of things that involve Foley fight scenes. In many cases, Foley fight scenes means throwing people into cars, against cars, open and closing car doors
There's
or
a
car
lot
hoods.
of denim on this car
Pardon?
hood. There's a lot of denim on this car hood.
Yeah, there is. We use the denim either to mute the car hood. Sometimes we use it to make it sound like there was a thicker piece of clothing on the person that's impacting the car hood. As you can see, we even sometimes put the names on the denim, but everything that you see in here is here not because of how it looks, only because of how it sounds. When Conan O'Brien and I did an interview in here, he threw himself on the car hood several times and never made it to air, but he made an absolute crazy person of himself, which is essentially his character.
Didn't he get into the tub too?
He didn't get into the tub, but he was throwing rubber animals into the tub.
Oh.
That was his concept. So yeah, Conan was an interesting person. I will say that.
Now, how many of these props would you say you use on an average basis, and how many are just they've been here for years and you haven't used them for years?
There isn't anything that we haven't used for years. There are some that we're going to use more than others, just depending on the show. Some props are fairly standard for each show because they use the same things over and over. The Law and Order shows or police dramas, episodics, essentially they're going to use the same props over and over, so they're going to get used a little bit more. But everything in here gets used at least a couple, 3 times a season, depending on the show or the film that we're doing. So none of it is junk. Everything is kept.
What about, so for the cop shows, there's a lot of like guns and stuff. Do you have like a gun that you use?
We do. We use different things for different people. Sometimes we'll cheat and make a sound that isn't there, and I'm assuming that's what you alluded to since you've seen me do that on tours before. So you get to talk to the camera for a minute as I go get it.
Well, how many props would you estimate are in this room?
Conservative estimate, probably close to 60,000. With all the stuff that's out here, which is only a small portion of it, there's twice again more behind the screen. That's for the larger storage and the big shelves. And there's a ton of stuff in garages and storage rooms and so forth and so on.
I seem to remember breaking
Big
some
screen
wood
that
one of the times
hides
I was here.
the room where there's a zillion more props, sound props.
The stage right next door is where I was on the Serenity set. I wrote a blog about that, about getting to be on Serenity.
And that will
was
be the
awesome.
new recording stage for The Voice.
New
As
recording
of 2
stage
weeks
for The
from now.
Voice, at least for a couple of years now, or a couple of years, or seasons.
Okay.
That's also where they filmed.
That was the jail set for Amistad. That was
Amistad.
Whoville. That was Whipstaff Manor for Casper. That was the corner of the
Casper.
racetrack with the reporter's shack for Seabiscuit. Oh, tons of stuff have been done on that stage.
Very big stage.
Very big stage. One of the biggest in all of our industry. Now, she was talking about guns and tricks. Well, this is a real gun. And what we can use it for are the mechanic sounds that it will make. We don't actually discharge the weapon on the stage. Those are effects that come from a library, the actual firing of the gun. But because the gun itself does not make a noise that we need, and if it's something on the screen that's a visual, you need to call attention to it as a story point, sometimes we use other objects to make the sound. These are vice grips that have the spring tape so you don't hear the spring. But this little clicking sound and the manipulation of it is something that people expect to hear when they see something move. Even if there's no moving parts and it doesn't make a sound, if you need it to make a sound, we will trick you into thinking you're hearing something that isn't there. Again, a lot of what we do is simply illusion. We're trying to make you believe that you're seeing and hearing something that was filmed and recorded all at the same time. It rarely is. There are many performances that are edited together. There could be a period piece from the 1700s and a plane flies over. Well, you're going to keep the film, but you can't use the sound, so that's got to be rebuilt.
Okay, so I really want to thank Dean, my Popey, for bringing us in here today and telling us all about Foley. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, sweetheart.